Sunscreen causes cancer. Have you heard about this claim before? I certainly have. Today, let's dive into SPF and sunscreen, about its history, why do we need them, and let's examine this claim, sunscreen causes cancer, with scientific research and evidence. By the way, if you don't know me, I am Christina. I'm a beauty enthusiast with a first-class medical sciences degree. I used to work in neuroscience in Germany, and now I work in marketing. So I want to apply all of this science knowledge and my research skill into this world of beauty, and the goal for this channel is to help you navigate this beauty world differently. Do consider subscribing if you're interested in that. So let's get into it. Let's dive into a little bit of history of SPF and sunscreen and why do we need it. There's this makeup artist that's beauty history obsessed. Her name is Erin Parsons, and I watched a lot of her videos before, and she really dived into the history of makeup and beauty, and some of her videos show how people used to do makeup and use sun protection ages ago. Those are really interesting. But according to my research and in this article that I found from history.com, it says basically sun protection is a thing that people do long time ago, before this concept of sunscreen and SPF existed. So what were the earliest form of sun protections? Ancient Egyptians used extract of jasmine, rice bran, and some other materials to block the sun, while ancient Greeks turned to olive oil according to Baylor University Medical Center proceedings. And in Japan, women use lead or mercury-based powders, and European women wore velvet face coverings and applied lead-based cosmetics to keep their skin pale. Hats date back to ancient Egyptian and Chinese civilization, and zinc oxide, this very commonly used physical sunscreen ingredient, was used in India as a sun protector, and also Native Americans use pine needles, flower, and sunflower oil. So what it looks like to me, based on this history, is that back in the days, people know that sun protection is important. Perhaps they know that strong sun exposure will cause skin damage and freckles. Back in the days, freckles are not considered as such a pleasant thing or like a preferable thing. So people know that there's risk associated with strong sun exposure. So they take whatever they have in the local region. Most of them were plants to apply it on their face or cover their face so then they can be protected from the strong sun. So sunscreen SPF is not new. It just back in the days is in a different way or different form. So fast forward to today, the birth of SPF, was the history behind it. So UVB filters were first introduced in 1928 and soon followed in 1932 with the first sunscreen invented in Australia by this chemist Milton Blake. And then later on, L'Oreal released its first sunscreen product by this French chemist Eugene Schuller. Pronounce that correctly, I hope. So this UV filter and SPF is fairly recent, but then the concept of sun protection is not. And then later on, Australian chemist again introduced a product called Glacier Cream. And then finally in 1974, he introduced the sun protection factor, what's known as today's SPF. So this concept is basically related to how long you can remain in the sun without harm. So since then, this SPF has become the global standard to measure sun protection against UVB. So SPF, basically you can measure how much longer skin takes to burn without sunscreen compared to with sunscreen. And obviously higher number means higher protection, as we all know. So that's the history of sun protection, sunscreen and SPF. But nowadays, obviously we have more advanced science. So in modern understanding, why do we need sun protection? So to understand this, we first need to know what sunlight is composed of. I have some other videos talking about this concept, that sunlight is made of visible light, infrared light, UVA, UVB, and UVC. They have different wavelengths. I don't want to go into too much details about this, but basically different wavelengths of sunlight, they can penetrate to different level of the skin. And I draw this diagram here some time ago. So UVA penetrates deeper, but UVB penetrates only on the epidermis level, but it can cause harm. So according to this article, UVB penetrates the skin and interact with molecules in the cell and form products that interrupt DNA repair. But UVA cause different type of photoaging and manifests as wrinkle and loss of elasticity. So all of these are scientific research. Scientists use scientific method to research and draw conclusions based on controlled experiments. So that's our modern scientific understanding of why we need sun protection. However, recent years I've been hearing this claim a lot more often, that sunscreen causes cancer, and I have got this short video to show you.
Sunscreen is actually bad for you?
So for any invention, I would say, it's being invented to solve a problem, a pain point. SPF was first developed, I believe, in the 1960s. Since the time SPF has actually been used. So a decade later, in the 1970s, when SPF was just commonly being used by people, yes? Skin cancer, melanoma rates in the United States has gone up over 200%. You do the math. You know, one of the most dangerous ingredients in SPF is Oxybenzone. And for those of you perhaps that don't know what that is, just look it up.
There are two statements I want to examine and address in this video. The first one is this sunscreen ingredient called Oxybenzone, and then the second statement, she said that in the 1970s, when SPF or sunscreen was started to be widely used, skin cancer rate has gone up over 200%. And let's examine these two. So first of all, Oxybenzone. I'm not a chemist, I am a broad scientist, so I try my best to look up the ingredient science. And as you know, I partner up with my colleague Chris Wonsky to do a weekly podcast. We dive into ingredients, so follow along if you're interested in that. So I looked up this Oxybenzone and I have asked some industry friends about this. So first of all, and this is a basic search, so Oxybenzone is a widely used, effective but controversial chemical UV filter found in many sunscreens to protect against UVA and UVB rays. There are some safety concerns. Studies suggest Oxybenzone can be absorbed to the skin in significant amount and act as endocrine disruptor, cause skin reactions, and environmental impact as well, like harmful to coral reefs, marine life, and all that. So there are some research showing that this is perhaps not the best for our skin and for the environment. However, most modern Korean sunscreen have moved away from using Oxybenzone and these other ingredients. So modern filters, Korean sunscreen commonly use advanced photostable filters like these other ones listed here, and many labeled as reef safe, meaning they are free from Oxybenzone. Sort of paper computer research, and I asked a PhD cosmetic chemist that I know, and he has confirmed that yes, in modern day sunscreen, especially the Korean one, Japanese one, even the one in the UK, Oxybenzone now is rarely being used, and chemists have moved away from using these ingredients, obviously for this safety concern. So yes, it has concerns, but as the science advances and things getting developed better and better, we are moving to a better direction in terms of sun protections. And then the second statement in this video is like, in the 1970s, skin cancer rate has gone up over 200%. Why is that? First of all, the rate has gone up to 200%. I think that it could be in the 1970s, more cases of skin cancer were recorded. So before that, let's say 100 years ago, people just get different diseases and disorders and die, and for whatever reason, it's not recorded properly, and people didn't know that it was skin cancer. They just things just happened. But in the 1970s, more cases were recorded as well. So I found this, okay? The Surveillance Epidemiology and End Results Program in the US began with a collection of cancer cases starting on January the 1st, 1973. And it was established by this National Cancer Institute as a direct result of the National Cancer Act of 1971. So it began with registry of cancer cases and designed to establish a population-based cancer reporting system to monitor trends in cancer incidence and mortality. So I think part of the reasons why the cancer cases or cancer rate has gone up 200%, it was because of this program, and many more cases have been recorded in this program. And that's when you have these statistics and records of what's happening. But at the same time, it is also possible that sunscreen causes cancer. But I think at this stage, as I'm filming this video, there are too many variables to directly link the use of sunscreen to cancer. You know, sunscreen have gazillion type of sunscreen, many type of formulations. And if I use one sunscreen, maybe there are other lifestyle factors that contribute to skin cancer. So the most I can say is like association, but I cannot conclude that using sunscreen results in cancer. So I do think that it needs more long-term research to confirm this. So I looked at published research about skin cancer and sunscreen. there are actually many articles talking about this. So what's been published most of the time, it states that sunscreen is not linked to higher rates of any type of cancer. And also sunscreens are tested for safety. In the United States, sunscreen are regulated as over-the-counter products by the FDA. And the FDA has not found evidence that common active sunscreen ingredients increase the risk of any type of cancer. And another analysis published looked at studies dating back to the 60s and also found negative health effects of sunscreen use. And it also says that it's true that skin cancer is fairly common and rates are going up. And many types of cancers are going up because like we live in this modern city, there's pollution, there's environmental factors, there's like global warming. It's a lot of things are involved. I think if you don't use any kind of sun protection, let's not say sunscreen, let's just like talk about sun protection. If you don't use any sun protection and just expose yourself to really strong sun and expose yourself to the sun for a long consistent period of time, research showed that it actually increased your rate of getting cancer, not just skin cancer but like cancer in general. So I strongly suggest that you use some form of sun protection, not necessarily sunscreen made in a lab or factory, but sun protection is important. In terms of can sunscreen cause cancer, so far I'm not convinced and there's not enough evidence and there's just too many variables. So that's in my opinion. What do you think? Have you looked at the research behind this? Have you do your own research? And what's your personal experience? What's your personal view on this one? Let me know in the comments below. And lastly, I just want to touch on this ingredient called methylene blue and if we can use it as a SPF or sun protection ingredient, because based on what I know, it's not very commonly used in sunscreen, but because I do this weekly podcast with my colleague and partner Chris Wonsky, I get to know about this ingredient called methylene blue, and scientists in the lab use it to stain cell as well. I think I used it before in Germany, but I can't remember exactly. And because of him, I looked up the research behind this. It's blue color. And for example, this article shows that methylene blue was safe for long-term use and it can improve skin viability, promote wound healing, and increase skin hydration and dermal thickness. And it has a great potential for skincare. So this next study suggests that methylene blue has potential to be a calorie-friendly sunscreen active ingredients that can provide broad-spectrum protection against UVA and UVB. So if you believe that sunscreen does cause cancer, maybe you can turn into ingredients like this that's been proven to protect you from sun, UVB, UVA. So in summary, SPF is not a new thing. Back in the old days, Asian, Egyptian, Chinese, Japanese, and Europeans long time ago already used some form of sun protections and they use more natural ingredients from their local area. And this concept of SPF and sunscreen is fairly recent, about 1960s, 70s. And modern scientific research shows that if you don't protect yourself from sun and have strong sun exposure, it can cause DNA damage and contribute to cancer. On the other hand, there's also this statement or claim that the use of sunscreen can cause cancer because of all these ingredients that might be harmful. One of them is Oxybenzone. However, modern sunscreen are moving away from this filter and leaning towards more safe ingredients. And lastly, if you really do believe that sunscreen causes cancer, perhaps you can turn to single ingredients that's been proven to provide some protection, such as this methylene blue. And I want to let you know, at the end of the day, I still believe that sunscreen is very important, and I do prefer Korean sunscreen in general because they're really comfortable to apply. So I built a free Korean sunscreen recommendation tool. Check it out on my profile. Just put down your preferences and a personalized report will be sent to you by email. Thank you very much for watching and do consider subscribing. I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!